everybody. This is Brian for Breaking Down Security. This is part 2 of our interview with Tanya Janca about Mentor Monday, which is her hashtag she uses on Twitter to connect mentors and mentees. We also discuss what it takes to be a good mentor, ideas that mentors and mentees should have in mind when starting a relationship similar to this. And another thing we ask is, when is it time to maybe cut your mentor or mentee loose in a good way or a bad way? Finally, we talk about the leading cyber ladies and OWASP International. We talk about some of the community outreach that's being done by the OWASP group, and talk about what the goals of the organization are, and how people can get involved with OWASP or the leading cyber ladies. So sit back, enjoy. A lot of great discussion here. If you are a mentor or you're looking for a mentor, doesn't hurt to check out this interview with Tanya. So we're going to get started by asking her about leadership and mentorship. So we've talked about DevOps tools. We've mentioned leadership, leaders and leadership in OWASP. And one of the other things you do is mentoring. You have a hashtag on Twitter called Mentor Mondays or Mentoring Mondays.
Mentoring Mondays.
Yep. Now, Mr. Becker has been a mentor when I first started working at the company that he and I worked at. And then I would hope at some point I've become a mentor to him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, no, I can't answer. He's just like not nodding or anything.
I'm wondering where this is going.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to ask the question, and since he didn't say yes, I obviously was not a mentor or a very poor mentor.
Oh.
What does it take to be a good mentor?
Ooh, this is such a good question.
We only have like about an hour and a half. So
okay. I would say the number one thing is that you have to have your mentee's best interests at heart, and that you have to be trustworthy. My first professional mentor, like the best way to say it is, betrayed me. Like everything was awesome. And then I kind of graduated and it was cool. Everything was cool. We're friends. We hang out. We text every day. He'd offered me a job. I said yes. And then I got offered the most prestigious job I can imagine, which is to lead the red team for Canada, where you compete in the international hacker games. You attack all the military colleges and you attack the military regularly. And I was asked to lead it and serve my country. So of course I said yes. Mm-hmm. And then he broke up with me as my friend, told me to F off, and then spread rumors about me until I lost the job.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Dang.
Yeah, that's like really going far. Like definitely slander. Like if I could have someone that would go on the record, oh yeah. And so then I was told that the job offer was rescinded, and I had a lot of trouble getting work for a while because of that.
So if you're a mentor, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah. So I got a new professional mentor who knew that guy. And he is great. And then I got another one and she was great. And then I actually just got a brand new one and she's incredible. My newest professional mentor, we agreed that we would mentor each other because we each have different superpowers. And so I'm helping her with her presentation skills, and then she's helping me with like a long list of things. She's amazing. She's so successful.
Is it a formal process? Do you have to? I don't know. Is it like a Tinder? Do you swipe right?
Contract.
Is it contract? What do you have to enter into a contract? What does it look like?
I think it's really, really important that you have a discussion with your mentor about what being a mentee and mentor means to each other, because so one of the women I mentored fired me. She was super pissed at me. And she was expecting like so much more than I could ever have provided. Like she wanted like several hours per week.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't understand that was her expectation, but that's what her previous mentor had offered. So that's what she thought it was. And I was like, I was kind of hoping we could have coffee once or twice a week, have phone calls, And like, if you need me, I will be there and I will advocate for you if you need it. And I will help direct you in like, your learning, or, if you need career advice, like I'm in your corner. And so we kind of broke up for years. And then eventually we sort of like got back together, if that makes sense.
Got the band back together. Yeah.
Yeah. Because both of us adjusted. Also, like some mentors have a lot of time for you. Some don't. Some people will kind of treat their mentor like a free consultant. I started a mentoring program for my OWASP chapter, and a lot of the mentors told me the mentees wouldn't call them back. They would stand them up. They would just send them a message instead of using Google. Right. Like, if you're going to ask your mentor a technical question, it's because you have already spent at least 1 hour searching for this answer on your own, at least.
Right.
Like, I think I only ever sent like 2 super technical questions to my last professional mentor. And I had like looked all over the place. And he's like, here's what you're going to do. You're going to use this tool and do this, then use that information, use this tool, feed it in, do that. Then you're going to use this tool to double check. And then you're going to script this and you have to write that, blah, blah. And then you have your plan. Oh shit, that's amazing. I had no idea those things existed. He's like, go forth. Make it reality.
Yeah.
Right. But he knew that I'm like, I looked at this, like I've tried all these things and now I'm stuck. But a professional mentor should also not like put you in danger. So for instance, back
physical danger?
Like getting in legal trouble danger. When I first started, I mean, I didn't know all the legalities of pen testing, and my first professional mentor put me on a contract he should not have without the client's permission. I did not know that was not allowed. I did not realize he didn't get permission. And then he got me to pen test their prod. And I found a vulnerability. He told me to exploit it. I took their prod down hard. Yeah, like a real company.
Whoops.
And they had to like restore everything from backup. Like I effed up their shit. And like he told me exploit it. And like I didn't know. I'd had like 0 training. Right. And so I'm just like using my little developer brain. And I'm just like, I'd like renamed all the files on the production server, moved them all around. Like just like it was a mess. And then he was really angry at me. And he was like, well, what exactly, how did you do this? I'm like, here's all the commands I did. And he's like, but like, what's the theory behind it? Like, what's the bug? I'm like, I don't know. This is black box testing. Like I did this, then this happened. Here's how I did it. I can reproduce it. And he's just like, maybe next time you'll do a good job. He's like, wow. He was kind of like, I'm going to throw you in the middle of the ocean. I hope you don't drown. Apparently I'm the only person to ever graduate his apprentice program. 20 people before me, he fired all them. So I graduated. That's pretty cool. Apparently I'm the only one.
Yeah.
So now, is there an end game that you agree to? Like, okay, you can be my mentor, I'll be your mentee, but once I learn X, Y, and Z, then we can end this and I can get a better or a higher level mentor. Like I'll be equal to, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's a thing, again, like conversations that you have to have ongoing. So one of my professional mentors, so he's moving, and that's part of the reason why we're quote unquote breaking up. But also I've kind of extended, so I've learned the things that he has to teach. So I'm good at those things now, which is really cool. Right. And so also like my career sort of taken a different path. So I'm not a web app pen tester anymore. I do developer relations and like kind of help like shape products, and I help build community. And then I also like, I smash things more because I enjoy it, as opposed to like the formalized act of penetration testing, right? The formalized act of consulting, right? I don't consult now, like almost ever. My job doesn't really give me any time to breathe, much less like have side hustles, as they call it, which is really a second job. Right. So he's like, we're not really in sync anymore, if that makes sense. And so you have to kind of do what's right for you. I mean, like, he's still this awesome person who influences me. And we actually are going to like collaborate on a little thing together now, because like now I can be more at his level. And he's like, oh, like you're doing this. I'm like, cool. Do you want to like work on it together? Like, you know what I mean? Nice. And it's awesome. But I feel like communication is key. I feel like having expectations is key, and you can change the expectations, but you just kind of have to have awkward conversations sometimes, right?
So wouldn't it be up to the mentor really to say, look, I really can't teach you anymore. I mean, you're like legit now, so we can be pals, but this formal thing, you should probably, and here's some more mentors that'll help you do some other awesome things. Why don't you contact them? Definitely.
I believe sometimes you have to push the little bird out of the nest. Definitely.
Yeah. So that's kind of corollary to my question was, should the mentee have a goal in mind when engaging the mentor? So, I think
it's ideal if you can have a goal. However, sometimes it's that you need to figure out what your goal is. I feel like there's a lot of people where they're like, so there's two types of people that tend to be searching for mentors that I talk to. One type is, I want to get into InfoSec. How do I do that? And so then you need someone that advocates for you, right? And then the other ones are, I want to learn X skill, or I want to get better at this. So, I do professional mentoring for a bunch of women on like how to do public speaking, how to be better at it, how to feel more confident at it, how to make sure you're getting like your message across, how to get a speaking gig, how to get people to show up to a speaking gig, how to like, how to respond to criticism. Right. Like the number one fear of most of the women that I talk to who are worried about going on stage is they're worried about having a really rough question and answer period. And I have seen people be very crappy to women and men in question period. And I used to play in a hardcore band, so you can't really get like worse question period than that, if that makes sense. Like audience interaction includes throwing things.
Right.
So like I had someone get really, really, in my opinion, like wildly rude and inappropriate with me during question period in Singapore in February, and I shut him down. And then after, he like called me out on Twitter and told me and said that I'd made up stuff during my talk. And then I sent him a direct message and made him apologize. I was like, you are out of line, sir. And like in the meetup, I actually was like, I need you to close your mouth now, because you're talking over me. You're being rude. You're ruining this for everyone. You ask me a question and you talk over me before I can answer. Like, there's nothing constructive happening here, so you are done now. And he's like, well, I'm like, no.
Was he
one of most women are like, that's utterly terrifying. That's so terrifying. Like, what if he got up and punched you? I'm like, well, there's like 6 other dudes there, so I hope you would only get to punch me once. He wasn't that big. He's probably not going to punch me. He's a nerd. I'm a nerd. Nerds usually just like do nerd things to each other. Not really worried about violence.
They punch virtually. With words.
Yeah, he did punch me after. He tweeted at me and was like, you can't just make up facts in your speech. And like, we all know I was right. And I was like, okay, so you and your 6 followers feel that way. And and it was fine, right? But I think like a lot of them are really worried that they'll be like attacked. And so like we talk about it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to ask you questions. Let's practice. I'll be a dick. You know what I mean? Or like present your talk to me. Okay, so this part wasn't clear. Or like, you know what I mean? And like kind of work through fears with them. Just like my professional mentor, he actually stood on stage next to me. He sat next to me during my first talk on stage.
That was nice.
Because it was his conference, so he could do that. Oh. He just like sat on the side of the stage and was just like, get going. I'm right here.
So your Mentor Monday thing, our Mentoring Monday tag on Twitter, how does that work? Do they tweet to you, Mentoring Monday, I'm looking for a mentor, or I'm looking for a mentee? How do you put them together? How do you make the relationship work or start?
Okay, so every Monday I tweet out, it's Mentoring Monday. Do you need a professional mentor? Have you worked in InfoSec or another area of IT and have information that you want to share? Are you willing to take someone under your wing? If so, respond to this thread or make your own thread, but use the hashtag so people can find you. It's weird. It appears very few people understand how Twitter works. And so they will reply to mine, but they don't use the hashtag. What is happening is that a lot of people will tweet, oh, I need a professional mentor. I really want to learn how to do instant response. Or I'm really excited about malware, but obviously malware is really dangerous. Could like someone, help start me off on how to make a sandbox and not F up my life? Right? Yeah. And then what is happening, I have discovered, is that many, many members of the community are searching the hashtag and then directly contacting that person. So first, if you're going to participate in Mentoring Monday, please open your direct messages so people can respond to you. Sometimes people do that and then their DMs are closed and they're like, I don't understand. No one messaged me. Oh, crap.
Right.
And make sure you use the hashtag because people are searching. And I actually search for it. So a lot of people are just doing their own tweet with Mentoring Monday. And then I look for it and then I just retweet it to amplify them. And then I also am one of the many lovely ladies that control the WOSEC tweets account. So if it's a woman or a non-binary person, gender fluid, anything like that, then I also will retweet it from that account in hopes, because there's a different audience for that account, maybe they'll be more helpful. And then I sometimes try to pair people directly. Like I'll say, did you see this person's message? Or like, hey, I know you're into this topic. Is there any chance like you would just want to recommend a book to this person just to get them started off? So I've made like a lot of introductions, but I happen to know, so a lot of people from work now on my team are secretly scooping people up. Like, hey, I saw you're into Node.js. Me too. Cool. Do you want to like nerd out together? Or like, if you want, you can send me questions. But mostly it's just InfoSec as a community has responded so strongly and positively in this wonderful way that I never would have seen coming. Like I started it because I write a blog and I'm a nerd and I try to help. And so people are like, can you be my mentor? I'm like, I can't, because I have 5 women in my life that are really important to me and I don't give them enough time. I already feel like I'm kind of a shitty mentor because I don't give them all enough individual attention. And so if I take on another one, then that's just me being crappier for them, right? And so I'm like, I can't do that. But I'll try to help you find someone that can help you, that will actually be a good mentor to you, that will have time for you. Because I don't know, like I have that I want to help everyone thing inside me. But my boss keeps telling me I have to learn how to scale. So this is me scaling. Right. So this is my effort to scale. And also if I get the same question a bunch of times, I write a blog post and then share it. So like a lot of people ask me about, public speaking. So I wrote one on that, or specifically how to do like a good technical presentation. So I just published something on that. Like, here are the things that I do. Like if everyone's eyes are kind of half shut, it's because they're tired. Right. And their brain's full and they're having trouble concentrating. It does not mean you're boring. That's not what it means. It means they're trying so hard to listen. And in my blockchain class, like the last day in the afternoon, I noticed like I was doing that kind of like head nod where I was trying hard to keep my eyes closed, and the teacher looked kind of deflated. I was like, Mick, you're awesome. We're all so into this. Like, you're breaking our brains with all the knowledge you're giving us. Like, you're amazing. It's not you, it's us. Our brains are full. Like, can we have 5 minutes? We will come back. Yeah. We'll empty our brains. Yep. Let's have like a little break. You're amazing, just so you know. And like, you could tell by the way he responded, like he had been worried about us, like if we're paying attention. And so sometimes like just understanding that about an audience, like you feel better. Yeah. But if they're playing with their phones, like you're screwed.
Well,
so are you a matchmaker? I mean, are you the eHarmony of mentoring?
Oh my gosh, eHarmony. I remember that was a thing. Is that still a thing? No, sorry. So. I don't take responsibility for matching people because I've learned that if you try to match people, you don't always get it right, but then they feel like they have to be matched. If anything, if you go have a coffee and you don't click, don't do it. Keep looking, just like dating, I guess. Like, I mean, like if you meet someone and you don't click, like you're not going to marry them, right? And mentoring is a person that you need to trust. I also think like a lot of people need to do, I guess something people have been telling me is called advocating. So I have a much longer list of humans who I advocate for. So if, for instance, I was asked to speak at a conference in Israel that's in a few weeks from now. However, I was in Israel last week and I can't just fly right back there. I theoretically have other things to do than that, even though it's an awesome opportunity. So I wrote them and I told them, like, you know who would be perfect for that? This person. She's awesome. Let me tell you why. And then I just told them a bunch of things that they're totally unaware of. And then they're like, damn, can we have her number? I'm like, yeah. And so then I made a little introduction and then now she's going to get that spot instead,
nice.
which is great. Right. And she's a lesser known speaker, even though she's incredible. So I've been like doing a lot of that. Or when I was in Israel, I brought one of my mentees and then she stayed in my hotel room with me. And she did my talk with me. And she also, like, we fundraised for her plane ticket. So then she could come on the trip for free. So because she was speaking, she got in free. We, shared my space. And then all of this came together. So then she got to have this opportunity because I was willing to share. And I think that a lot of people in InfoSec don't realize how much they have that they could share. Mm-hmm. So like right. if you're invited to be on a panel or you're invited to do some sort of talk or be on a podcast, right? What you can do is say, if you can't make it, like you could offer that spot to someone else that you know is good. So I'm not saying we should advocate for people that have no skills or experience or that aren't qualified. Those are people that need mentors and need to work up to that.
Right.
Like a lot of conferences will say, oh, there's no female speakers. I'm like, okay, I have a list of 10 for you. Like, which topics do you want? I'll send you at least 3. Right. Like, yeah. Like maybe they didn't apply, but like, if you're telling me there's none and you really need one and you invited me, I can't come. Like, I'm going to try to help.
Right. So, when you're talking about advocating, is it also for like helping to find people jobs? Because I've been burned by this in the past where I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's great for a job. I only know him through, say, Twitter, or I've saw him at a conference for 15 minutes. Now, I won't lie. I actually met somebody at a conference for 15 minutes last year at B-Side Springfield. Seemed very smart. I sent him to my carpool buddy, Dr. Crispin Cowan, and he was talking to Crispin, and Crispin was like, yeah, we should bring him in. And he's doing a phenomenal job, just killing it. And, that's one of those things. But I've also had somebody that I used to play RPGs with, and he, got laid off from his job in IT at the hotel. And I was like, oh, well, he needs a job. My boss, oh yeah, he'll do his job. 6 months later, he's fired because he can't do his job. And you take a reputation hit if you make that mistake. Of course, this has been almost 10 years ago. But it's hard if your reputation is on the line and you don't really know those people.
Yeah, I only will give someone one of my speaking spots if I've seen them speak and I know they're good. Okay. I might make an introduction for a job. So I might say, hey, this person's looking for a job and has experience in this, and you're looking for someone to do this job. Maybe you two should meet. But I have had a lot of people ask me to recommend them for jobs, especially for jobs at Microsoft, because I work there. And they'll tell me, a recommendation coming from you would be a huge deal. And I'm like, yes, because I only get recommendations if I've actually worked with you and I have not. Right. And so sometimes they're like, oh, well, we worked at the same company. I'm like, yeah, but we weren't on the same team. Like, I was in one meeting with you ever. And it's like, they seemed mediocre in that meeting where they only said one sentence. That sentence was great. Like, you don't want me to be a reference for you because my reference will be that I've heard of you, or like she's funny on Twitter, right. Or like she's got great hair or whatever. Right. And I've had people say like, can you recommend me? And it's like, it's not that I would have anything bad to say about you. It's that I don't have anything really to say. And to me, that's not positive.
Yeah.
It's not a positive reference.
1, -1, 0, you're kind of at the 0 line. There's nothing moving you, up or down. So yeah, I completely understand.
We have this thing. I don't mean to talk about my employer a lot, but this is a cool thing. So I used to work at the Canadian government, and the way we did our yearly review was your direct manager did all your judgment, and that was it. So let's say, usually me and my manager would be high-fiving and be awesome, right? And it was fine. But what if you have a manager and you don't get along, or they're, you know what I mean? So what they do at Microsoft is we have this thing called perspectives. So what I did is I just I did, a threat model with this guy on my team who was really cool. And I was like, yo, can we do a perspective? And they say, what was good, and ideas for you to improve, or you do this thing, this is cool, but it would be even cooler. You do this thing, I don't like it that much. Or have you considered this instead? Here's why I value working with you, et cetera, right? And I've gotten really, 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 really productive criticisms. The best one I'll share with you. So everyone should know this. I suck at this. I will get really excited. I'll write 10 blog posts on a plane. So I'll fly back from Israel. It's 12 hours. It's daylight. I can't sleep. I'll write a ton of blog posts, and then I'll release all of them on the same day, because I'm dumb. That is dumb. Don't do that. Release 1 a week. Don't release 5. So I've already released 3 since my long flight back from Israel. And I know they're already oh, I told you to stop doing that. But I did it on different days at least.
Right.
And so I'm trying so hard to save some blog posts for next week and the week after. But I just get so excited. I'm I want everyone to know now. And so she's like, did you know that you can time that? Did you know that's a thing? So I, on purpose, I released one and then I timed one to come out today instead. So there was a few days in between.
Yep.
Right. And that's thanks to this woman on my team that was yo, you're great at making content. You suck at timing. You suck. You're really excited. You 500 of the same thing. Wow. She said it so much nicer. She was very constructive about it. But now I do that and I'm better at this because of her. Right.
Right. So I understand the perspectives used to be anonymous, but now they've made it so that you can see who's actually giving you the feedback.
Yeah. I think it would be really obvious who gave me all the different feedback. It's when we worked on X together, I'm yeah, I know who that was.
Yep. Yeah.
But if it's anonymous, I think that there might be more likelihood that it wouldn't be as helpful, because sometimes people are less constructive than
and more destructive, because they can snipe at you, and they think they're so clever. So yeah,
stop complaining that blah blah blah, and it's that's not
right. Yeah. No, I like the idea of being able to give people feedback in that manner. So yeah. So wow.
And then your boss sees it, right? And I like that my boss gets to see it. It does suck though, because I have only had around 40% of people actually respond. So I'm does that mean that those people have a thing that they want to say to me that's bad, but they feel not able to say it? And if it's Tanya, you smell bad and you're a stinky monkey, I don't need to hear that. Right. But if it's I don't feel you make enough time for blah, or do you know what I mean?
Right.
I want to be better, not perfect, but we all kind of are on a journey to improvement. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get so off topic.
No, that's cool. No, I like that, because it's all about, this is all about feedback and giving feedback, and everybody, in your perspective system is mentoring one another in some respects. So it makes sense. Yeah.
And finding a professional mentor that will actually give you feedback. And so importantly for mentees, listening to the feedback, but then making your own decision. So I know not all mentors will have great feedback. or productive feedback, especially if they're like my first mentor who told me to never bother applying to a conference because no one would ever be interested in a unique thought I would have. Yeah.
He sounds lovely.
Yeah, I know. Like the breakup was really mean.
Yeah.
Now, how did you take that? I mean, did you cry in a corner for a week or?
Yeah, definitely.
Or did you act? You did.
I'd be crying in a corner.
Yeah. And I also was like, dude, can we talk about this? Like, what is going on? Like, can we work this out? And it was just like, F off, F off, F off, F off. Lose my number, leave me alone. You're a stalker, you're annoying. And I was like, but we were like best buds for like 3 years. I don't understand. And so then I talked to my new professional mentor and he's like, well, if that hadn't happened with him, would you still apply to his conference? Because he runs the conference in my city. Like he runs everything. Mm-hmm. Right. And I was like, yeah, of course I would. He's like, then still apply. So I applied the first year, I got rejected. And then I applied the second year and I was rejected. And then this past year I was invited to speak because I am now too famous not to invite.
Nice.
And that was extremely satisfying.
Oh yeah. Revenge is the best.
And then I was like, well, I kind of don't want to go because it's uncomfortable. And then my professional mentor said, dude, don't spite yourself and ruin your career and do stupid moves. Because of a personal thing that happened between you and someone that's too dumb to see your value. So now he's seeing your value. Don't do it to spite him. Don't not do it to spite him. What would you do if he wasn't involved? I'm like, of course I would speak down the street from my house with hundreds of people coming. Of course I would go. Right. I go for like 10 people at a meetup. I am like addicted to public speaking at this point.
That's nice.
If the Starbucks people were like, would you give us a talk about security? I would be like, I'll be there. I'll have a latte.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean? So he's like,
Extra
well, then go, dum-dum. Like, there's no decision to make here. So I went.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're at the top of the hour. I want to talk about OWASP just fairly quickly. You've mentioned them several times here during the show. OWASP Tweets is the name of the Twitter handle, I assume?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
OWASP stands for Women of Security.
Okay.
I'll let you ask.
Yeah, you have 15 chapters worldwide. What's the goal of OWASP?
So since I sent you that, now we have 19.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. We turned 1 year old last month.
Nice.
And we are in Africa. We are in Europe. We're in North America. It's so exciting. We have people like writing us from all over the world. Okay, so WOSEC, basically, so I've worked in IT forever, for over 20 years. And everywhere I go, it's a bunch of men. And I love men. But I also really like women. And for instance, in my blockchain course, it's all men. And, you know, when I speak at the Python meetup, it's all men. Everywhere I go, it's all men. And it's cool having female friends. It's nice when someone's like, oh, you changed your hair. I'm like, yeah, I did. Thanks for noticing. And just men are wonderful. There's so much, like, I love men. But I also just want to have female companionship. So I went to Israel and I met all these really cool women that run a thing called Cyber Ladies there. And then I totally misunderstood a lot of it. It turns out. But anyway, like we had this dinner and there's just a whole bunch of cool women that all worked in cyber and I'm still like friends with them. And we've kept in touch. It's been over a year and that's awesome. And we just had so much in common. It was so cool. And then there are women. So then we could do women stuff. I don't mean to sound like all we do is talk about hair, but like no offense. Like I just wouldn't ask you about like, do you think I should like cut my bangs shorter? Like that's just not a thing that I would ask a guy. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure like you like having guy time and guy friends. So I came back and I was like, yo, Donna, my friend Donna. So I had 2 female friends in security, Donna and Nancy. And I was like, hey, what if we had a brunch once a month and then we like started a meetup and maybe other women will come? She's like, yeah, hopefully Nancy comes and maybe Katie will come. Because we just assumed we knew all the women. Right. So we now have over 200 women in our meetup.
Jesus.
The first meetup, 22 women came.
Nice.
So we call it like brunch and bitch. And then since then, we've formed informal mentoring relationships. 2 of the women started a company together. We also started crashing what we call boy meetups. But really, like the Python meetup is not for men. It's just that only men ever show up. Mm-hmm. So I would go by myself and it was intimidating. So we went to capture the flag and we made our own team. And then we went to B-sides. And so we knew that there'd be like 25 other women there and we all already knew each other. So then it was like really fun and exciting and like, oh, do you want to sit with me for this talk? And so female attendance goes way up if WOSEC crashes your conference. So we crashed awesome. Microsoft Build, we crashed RSA. At RSA, we had a woman breastfeeding during our meetup.
Oh, that's very nice.
I don't know if you've ever been to a tech meetup and seen a woman breastfeeding, but I haven't before. So it's like we make like this safe space where women can meet each other and hang out, and then we go to events together, so it's not intimidating. And then we have workshops. The chapter in Kenya, in Nairobi, it's so popular that she's having workshops sometimes twice a month.
Nice.
Because there's so much demand. And lots of men have been wonderfully supportive, like so supportive. So we have a graphic designer who does all this stuff for us. And he's like, I love what you're doing. And I just want to help. We have, men like making sure we have spaces for our meetups. We have men come and teach at the meetups. And it's funny because some people have like argued with me, like, you don't need to have this. Like, there's all these other women's groups. Why do you have to have this? I'm like, well, so a lot of women's groups charge money. WOSEC's free. We all go have brunch and we all pay for our own brunch, right? Like, it's just a bunch of friends going. They all know us now. It's funny. In Ottawa, they give us our own room because we're so loud. We're always giggling and laughing.
Nice. I like brunch.
But the idea is that if you actually have a whole bunch of friends, maybe you'd be more likely to stay in InfoSec and not leave.
Absolutely.
Or you have like a team of people to support you, right? So one of the women, we helped her find her first job. One of the other women, she did her first public speaking talk, and we knew, and we all showed up. But then she booked another one and she didn't tell us, and we all surprised her and showed up, and we're like, yay, Rama!
Nice.
And also we've been able to stand up for each other so there's chapters all over the world now. And we're doing a bunch of things. Right now we're trying to plan an online conference so that any woman in the world can go for free. But like one of the chapters, a woman came to me and explained that an incident of sexual violence had happened at her school. And then I used my fame and I called the school and I was like, what the fuck? Sorry for the language. And I was like, are you aware that this happened? And like that the dean of your school did this and that women are afraid to go into school today because of that? And they freaked out. They had no idea. They started an investigation, and in under 4 hours, the dean was fired from the university.
Oh, that's good.
Like they investigated it, found out it was true, and did it. And like she was in tears. She's like, oh my God, I thought I was gonna have to drop out of school. I was so scared to go back. And like this is a thing that like she trusted me because of her mentor in her chapter. And then we could work together and band together. And like how many other people did we protect? Right? Like, right. And this is, so if we can like use our power together, we can do things like RSA was so wonderful. They're like, yeah, we'll give you a room. We'll do this. We'll do that. Like, how else can we help? They're like, we want to do whatever we can so that women want to come to RSA and are comfortable and happy about it. So you just tell us what to do. Can you come back next year? Like right after they're like, next year?
Nice.
Like, yeah.
That's awesome. Do you guys have a Seattle WOSEC chapter?
We are just finding a leader. I think we have a volunteer. And so what we do is like, we set them up with like a more, like someone with more experience to help them start their chapter to make sure they're a success. Mm-hmm. We are looking for sponsors because I sort of just keep twisting my boss's arm further and further, and they're paying all the meetup fees for the whole world.
Oh, wow. Well,
Thank you, Microsoft. Thank you. But we should have like more than one sponsor. Like that's a smart idea. Because like I've kind of just been like running it really ragtag with all these amazing women. Like just people come out of nowhere. Like we just started a South African chapter in Johannesburg, and they're thinking of starting one in Cape Town. And so if you know someone in Seattle who would want to help, that would be great because 2 women is way better than 1 woman.
Okay.
And it's kind of not hierarchical like some other, it's just like in our meetup, for instance, Donna and I run it. But if someone else is like, hey, I want to do this, I'm like, cool, I'll make the meetup and you lead it. Like one of the women's like, I'm going to capture the flag. I'm like, oh, I can't go because I'm like speaking. I was like running a track at that conference. So I had to like run the track and get all the speakers going and stuff. But she's like, can I lead a meetup? I'm like, yeah, yes. Oh my gosh. Right. So the idea is, I guess, just making friends and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do know a couple ladies that come to our CSEC East meetup, our monthly meetup. We invite everybody who shows up. There actually is one tomorrow night, so I'm hoping they show up. But if WOSEC in Seattle wants to crash the InfoSec camp out, they can definitely do that. We have some.
That'll be super fun.
We still have some camping slots. We also have some conference tickets. So if they want to help out with that or join us, they can. So
yes. Yeah. And you should introduce me to those nice ladies.
I can do that. They're all on our Slack, which we will be talking about here in a second. So,
cool.
All right. So,
can I say one more thing about WOSEC?
Yes, please.
So our Twitter account is sort of weird and special. Like a lot of people's Twitter's accounts talk about themselves. But our Twitter account, what we're hoping to do with it is have it be a constant positive stream of women in security being awesome. So all of us just use it to retweet cool stuff that other women are doing, even if like they're not part of WOSEC. Mm-hmm. So rather than just, I do retweet my stuff sometimes, right? But but what we do is like, I just search my Twitter feed and then whatever I think is awesome, I just share it over there. And so we just want to be this positive, constant stream because sometimes people are like, oh, there's no women in security. I'm like, no, there's tons. We follow 4,000 of them.
Yep. And
they're amazing. Check it out. This woman just did this. This woman just got a new job. Awesome.
Yeah, I follow roughly 500, I think, women. And people of various genders, not just women, but I did a super thread a couple of months ago where I got everybody that I knew had a picture that looked non-white male, and add them. Some of them didn't have pictures, so I couldn't really tell. So I probably overlooked some, but it's there's a lot of folks. There's a lot of folks on Twitter. A lot of ladies in InfoSec and in not just GRC, not regulatory and compliance stuff, but definitely straight up hacking, malware, unicorn. Ms. Wendy Knox Everett, who's I work with. She's a fantastic lawyer and lady.
Amanda Berlin.
Miss Berlin. Yes, we're definitely going to cover Miss Berlin's stuff here in a few minutes. So, a lot of ladies in InfoSec, a lot of ladies should get out and come to conferences and,
yes.
Get involved.
And if it makes them more comfortable to do it in a group, then I am there to be their wing woman.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
It's more fun. Just selfishly, it's just more fun for me.
Right. That's right. It's more fun with a friend, so.
For sure.
Yep. So you mentioned your blog. Is your blog on Twitter?
I have 2 blogs. So I have a blog on dev.to, that new community for developers.
Okay.
Because those are my people. And then I have one on Medium as well.
Okay.
But I publish mostly the same stuff. It's just that Medium has more because I had it longer. It's the same thing. Just look up She Hacks Purple. I have a YouTube channel too. It's just youtube.com/SheHacksPurple.
Okay.
And I'm theoretically going to make a website. I just started my own mailing list. It's called She Hacks Purple. Do you see a trend?
Yes. You're not red team. You're not blue team. You're the purple team.
Yeah. I couldn't make up my mind. They're just both so good.
That's okay. there's a lot to be said for both working at the same time. So I appreciate that. So, and She Hacks Purple is your Twitter handle. You've already mentioned where you're going to be speaking. We usually do that stuff at the end. I accidentally asked the question at the beginning. You're going to be talking at DevSecOps here in Seattle, which is sad because you're going to be here not this week, but next week.
DevSecCon.
Or DevSecCon.
No, it's not. It's not next week. It's in September.
Oh, September.
DevSecCon. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not DevSecOps days.
Oh.
There's a bunch now where their names are all really similar. This is, I don't know. It's just run by these two really nice people, Francois and Lisa.
Okay. All right. So keep an eye on her Twitter handle, She Hacks Purple, and she'll probably tell you where she's going to be or when she's going to be there. So
I will.
Cool. All right. So yeah, Ms. Berlin is our third wheel and then the person that keeps the band together, and she does a lot of work. She's doing some workshops and she's doing some training, and she does the Hackers Health, the Hackers Mental Health villages at conferences, which is really great. I volunteered and helped out at the last one at DerbyCon, and you can find all of the Hackers mental health stuff on Twitter at Hackers Health. Oh God! So let me make sure I got that right. I don't know why I don't write this stuff down. Hackers.
You're still learning.
Yeah. I'm new at this job, so hacker.
Maybe you need a mentor.
Yeah, I need a mentor. I've actually reached out to somebody just recently. Hackers Health. Hackers. There's a Hacker Health. That's not it. Hackers Health. Multiple hackers. Group of hacker. Murder of hackers. I don't know what they call a group of hackers. So yeah, Hackers Health, and you can find her also on Twitter at InfoSystir, INFOSYSTIR. I think she's going to be at Layer 8. Oh no, this is going to go out like 2.5 weeks later. So she was at Layer 8. Hope you got to see her there. And she's going to be at DerbyCon and ShowMeCon, I think, as well in the coming weeks. So if this comes out before ShowMeCon, then you'll either see her there or she was already there, and sorry you missed her. So it's time stuff, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. So Mr. Becker, you do LogMD, and you have some things going on as well. Why don't you tell us what LogMD is real quick, how to get a hold of you?
Oh, LogMD is a Windows logging malicious discovery tool that I developed along with one Michael Goff. And so check that out. It's free. Speaking of free tools.
Free DevOps tool.
To help you log all the things and get some value out of that. Awesome. My Twitter handle is @BetcherPwned,
okay.
BOETTCHERPWNED.
Awesome. Okay. So why don't you tell us about the Slack? Because I'll be talking a lot after this.
Will you? Wow. The Brakesec Slack channel. Where do I begin? It's got a lot of different channels.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if you're interested in a particular topic, you can pick a channel like SIM, like mental health, and all the things like that.
Yep.
And then we have what we call a hallway con.
Right.
Where basically everybody goes in and talks on whatever topic they want to, but keeping it real, right?
Yep. We also have a book club. Our moderators, Dave Sybuck and JB, who work, is one of our newer moderators, runs book club for the U.S. folks and the EU and APAC on Saturday mornings, Pacific time. So the next books we're going to be doing for the summer reading program is Cult of the Dead Cow in June, the Tribe of Hackers book in July, the Mastermind in August, and Cuckoo's Egg in September. So if you're interested in joining our book club, which is online and we use Zoom and everybody gets on and talks about the book, you can join our Slack by sending us a DM at Brakesec, which is our official podcast Twitter handle, at Brakesec, BRAKESEC, or you can email the podcast at bds.podcast@gmail.com. We're also doing our CTF club. PonySec is trying to find a time that is stable for everybody. I told him and suggested 8:30 in the evenings on Saturdays, so he's going to go ahead and try that again. He has speakers, he has demos, he's got people coming in and shelling and rooting all the things and making that happen. It's open to anybody and everybody who wants to join. He's trying to resurrect that and make that happen. Ultimately, I'd like to see us have like a Brakesec CTF team that would go out and do various CTFs after everybody's been kind of spun up on various things. But that's kind of down the road, and I'm not directly involved with the CTF club thing, so I'm kind of letting PonySec do his own thing on that. So I
actually just go onto the Slack channel to talk to Amanda.
Oh, yeah? Well, she is a joy. I love her. Yes, she's awesome when she's on Slack and in rare form when she's in rare form. So, So let me see. You can follow me on Twitter, Brian Brake, BRYAN BRAKE. We're on iTunes. Like I said in previous shows, iTunes reviews actually are helping you get better visibility for like the hot, what's hot or not on the podcast and stuff on iTunes. So if you are getting legitimate value from the podcast, you can always send us a review or you can, leave us something in our Patreon. We got a lot of patrons who are helping us out with time and effort. Hosting, the show takes money. Paying for the Zooms every month costs money as well. So those tips help us offset the costs, which is great because we don't have sponsors yet. I wouldn't lie. I say it is something we're investigating. I just don't know if it's too seedy yet. So we're looking at that. So Google Play Store, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio. There's pretty much no place you can't find the podcast. So there you go. So InfoSec campout's still going on. We got tickets, we got camping spots. Somebody just asked me if they could pull their 32-foot RV up into one of the RV spots, and I said yes, but you're going to need at least 2 people in that RV because one person in a 32-foot RV, or what is that in metric? That's like 10 meter RV. That's taking advantage of the RV spaces. So a minimum of 2 people on the RVs. But go to infoseccampout.com and you can get a ticket to the conference. We've got 3 or 4 speakers. I think we've filled almost all of our slots. We're just looking for maybe 1 or 2 more people to do that. We're going to have marshmallows, campfires, s'mores. We're looking at scavenger hunts. You can fly your drones. We're going to be having a lot of fun there. So it's August 23rd. You can camp the night of the 23rd. The conference is on the 24th, and you can camp for 2 nights if you like. And I'm going to be out there both nights. So definitely check that out at infoseccampout.com if you can. So, all right. Well, we've definitely gone over time, which is great because I thought this was all great information to talk about. Tanya, thank you for coming on. And you're always welcome back. We've got some other topics we'd like to discuss with you. So, we'll definitely hit you up to have you come on back at a later time to discuss those.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Right on. Okay. Well, that was it from the world headquarters here in Seattle. This has been Breaking Down Security. Everyone have a great week. Be nice to yourselves. Be nice to one another. Take care of yourselves because you're the only you have. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.